What's up, YouTube? What's up? This is your girl, The Knowing, seeing it all knowing right here on YouTube and The Knowing on Facebook. Coming back just to say hello on this great Monday evening. You know, I was just, thinking, just about people and how people are. Even, family. You always try to give people leeway, give people room to be themselves and different things of that nature. But you never ever really know a person. You just don't. You can think you know them, but you really don't know them. And they can be actually in your own family. See, what people didn't know and what I took, I went back and looked at that video of that man that Club Shay Shay had did with Cat Williams. And Cat Williams said a lot of stuff. He really did. Some people, calling him a prophet or whatever. I think he's a smart man. But he told him what he should be afraid of and what he should be doing. And he explained it'll take you down in 2 weekends. And then it turns around and comes out with, I knew he had a daughter, but they said this is the one closest to him because that's the one I always saw him with. But they said he had 3 of those kids in 1 year, and I ain't trying to judge nobody. But I just don't know when he said that he was so saved that everybody's so shocked about it. Every time I look, somebody's saying they shocked. For what? Why? It's weak. I'll take it, but it's weak. I think we have Mountain Dew at home. But yeah, y'all, I just wanted to come on and just say that. Also, again, condolence to the London Thomas, the 17-year-old that was found unalive. She went missing on April the 5th. I reported on it yesterday. And a lot of people were saying, they took her boyfriend was 23 or whatever. See, this is the thing. When you're parents and stuff, you got to be parent. You got to be trying to see who your daughter talking to, who they ain't talking to. Because it's not all this social media out here. They said the little girl was a good dancer. She did hair. She had multi-talents. She really did. But, yeah, I don't know. We got to be more parenting to our children. And people like to say, I got my life. Well, when you have kids, and she was only 17. A mother told me today, she said that her daughter wanted to go over to a friend's house. She ain't never heard this friend before. She got on the phone and called her nephew, which was the same age, and said, hey, you know such and such and such. And so he said, nah, T, let me call you back. And he called somebody, and he called back. He said, they friends? And so he said, well, I heard she was this way. So she said, well, I want to know, Doc, if I'm wrong. But my daughter gonna have a chance. I'm not going to let her naive, gullible ass go over there. And that girl, when she I'm going to give my child a chance. She ain't but 15. Whenever she get grown, she going to decide what she want. But right now, I'm going to give her a chance. What you think? I said, you should. That's your child. She said, you right, that's my child. And she said, Mama, you always doing too much. Just because of one person that way, I ain't that way. She said, and I told her, and you ain't going to become that way as long as I am your mother until you decide. I'm not going to let nobody get you over there. So we got to be careful where we take our children. Because they reported that her sister dropped her off. And I'm not trying to talk about their family. Because I can imagine they hurting. And condolence from seeing and all knowing and Till and I. We say condolence to them. But you got to be careful. The things that you expose your children to. Sometimes You have to be careful of those parents who have those kids. You really do. I know a lot of folk ain't gonna like it. And I know I talked about various things. And see, that girl 19, so I'm bringing it back around. When she was doing them voices or whatever, if they real, she sounded like something wrong with her. And maybe she was just a baby. He was old enough to be a granddad. And I tell all the time, you know, we got some contracts. I said, I can't do nothing with them men. They're old enough to be my granddad. What I want with them? I'm just saying, parenting gotta come back into play if we want our children to make it. Somebody showed me the picture of the little girl. I reported y'all that it happened up in Perry. Well, 4 people. And it was a foster care situation, but all of them was related. But the ones were closest sent for the little girl. And they had a beautiful homegoing service for that little girl. See, people are unaliving these children. That's the reason why all that stuff telling us, because that's why they so mad that what this man named girl? The Shannon Sharpe man. Because even though if some of it was role playing, you could have been role playing, y'all could have been dating for 2 years. The first time I say no, it's no. And I keep telling people that. They could have role played, they could have, you know, I didn't understand about the dog collar and give me a big black baby. I didn't understand all that. Why all that had to be said? But y'all watch it. They're coming out the bushes, one by one. And in my opinion, some more gonna come. Or either they're gonna be paid off. Y'all, this is your girl. Saying it all knowing right here on YouTube and the knowing on Facebook. Just coming to get y'all Monday's Chronicles. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.